What's going on, everyone? So, Los Angeles Lakers are still the ninth seed. They did get two breaks in the Phoenix Suns as well as the Dallas Mavericks, both losing 2 games back at Dallas for the eighth seed, 2.5 games back for the seventh seed of the Phoenix Suns, 3 games back at Sacramento, which it's really 4 games because Sacramento has the tiebreaker, and then 4 games back of the Pelicans, which that is actually 4 games because the Lakers have the tiebreaker. But there is also a real possibility that the Lakers just miss the playoffs entirely. I believe if the Lakers get to the 7th or 8th seed, they make the postseason, and I actually have faith in them in the playoffs outside of Denver, right? Problem is, if they stay in the 9th seed or drop to the 10th seed, they're not going to fall out of the playoffs entirely or the play-in entirely just because they're still a good amount of games ahead of the other teams. It would just be like basically they forfeit every game is the only way that they would fall out, but they still could technically fall to the 10th seed. If they finish in the 9th or 10th, I don't know if they make the playoffs. And if they don't, what do the Lakers do at that point? Right? Like what direction do they go? How do they reevaluate in the offseason? Again, I believe that the Lakers will make the playoffs. I believe that the Lakers could very well make it out of the Western Conference if matchups and things like that matter. It's a big thing, right? Say you play the Thunder in the first round and you play the Timberwolves in the second, right? I think all of a sudden you're in the conference finals. And then now you're playing, let's say, Denver. At least you have a chance, right? You have a puncher's chance. You never know. You have a couple games kind of go your way. The ball kind of bounce your way a couple times. You're in. Is it likely? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But many people didn't think that the Lakers would be in the conference finals last season. But if the Lakers miss the playoffs, or let's say they lose in the first round even, right? And by missing the playoffs, I mean missing the play-in. I know some people kind of count the play-in as the playoffs. I don't. I think it's exactly what it is, a play-in, where you're playing to get into the playoffs. But let's say that they end up the 10th or the 9th seed, and let's say they beat the Warriors, but they lose to Phoenix or something, right? Well, first off, you immediately need to fire Darvin Ham. I mean, that's the easy, no-brainer. All right, like Darvin Ham is clearly gone. The Lakers, the players seem to be kind of checked out with him. I mean, it seems like every day somebody is taking some subliminal jab at him. He just seems completely clueless at times, doesn't understand rotational structure. He doesn't understand a lot of things. And he's just not good at the X's and O's, which is a real problem with Darvin Ham. And it's bothersome at times. Not good at utilizing players correctly. I mean, that Sacramento game was a perfect example. Rui Hachimura is absolutely dominating Sacramento, has 17 at the half, and takes one shot, gets one field goal attempt in the second half. That is just, I'm going to be nice here. But that's not all on the coach. That's on the players, the ball handlers as well. It's on, D'Angelo Russell, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Spencer Dinwiddie, all the guys that have the ball in their hands to recognize, hey, Rui's a mismatch. But it is on the coach's job to recognize that, tell the players, hey, get Rui the basketball and call his number. There's a lot of issues with Darvin Ham, and I really do think that in this offseason, I think that they should fire Darvin Ham regardless. Problem is, if the Lakers make the conference finals or the NBA finals or win the finals, it is very possible that we have another season of Darvin Ham, which I sure hope not. But it's like, well, in his first year, he made the conference finals. In the second year, he made the conference finals. And we lost to Denver both times, right? You could justify it if you're Jeannie and Rob. Or if you made the finals. Like in his first year, he made the conference. Second year, he made the finals, right? Next year, can we actually win the finals if we kind of put better pieces around? Like, that's the problem. So, it's almost if you're somebody that wants Darvin Ham gone no matter what, you're probably even on the fence about the Lakers making the playoffs. But if they miss the playoffs, it is inexcusable to bring Darvin Ham back next season. Right? I don't know if they'll fire him like immediately, like as soon as the Lakers end up missing the playoffs, but you got to imagine Darvin Ham is gone once we get into the offseason, right? Once things starting to pick up and everything, the dust settles and all that, I expect news, Darvin Ham is fired. But beyond that, right? There's two ways that I could see the Lakers looking at it, right? Say Darvin Ham, he's fired, he's gone. The Lakers want another star. I think regardless, even if the Lakers win the championship, if you can get the right star, you get the right star, right? Like, again, I don't know how much this would happen, but apparently the Lakers really believe this. And there are reports that Donovan Mitchell is basically, it's either the Knicks or the Lakers. If the Knicks decide like, hey, you know what, we're good on Donovan, then the Lakers are going to land Donovan. Again, we'll see. Don't get your hopes up. It's just talk until it actually happens. But like, if you can get the right star, like if Dallas says like, Kyrie and Luka just aren't it, you can land a Kyrie, you can land a Donovan Mitchell. I know some people really like Trae Young. I'm kind of iffy on him, right? It's kind of, for when it comes to Trae, it's one of those things like I'd have to see it to really evaluate it. But I think if you can get a real star, I think you got to do it, right? Because you'd still have some level of depth, especially if you get like a Donovan Mitchell or a Kyrie, because those guys are making like 35 million as opposed to somebody like Trae Young who's in the 40s. So like you could, let's just use Donovan as an example, right? You could trade like Rui and Reeves and you're basically there. You just need to add in like a Jalen Hood-Schifino and there you go, right? So I think it just depends on the circumstances, but it's the Lakers, so they probably regardless try to go get the star route. So to me, that's fine. Okay, depends on the star, right? Like if, let's say going into next season, our starting five is like D'Lo, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, I feel pretty good if I'm the Lakers. Again, just using that as an example. So don't get crazy. But that's one approach. The other approach is, okay, you got a new coach. This team showed flashes and moments of like brilliance, right? Like it's a team that you could, maybe if you had the right coach, you could be better. So maybe the Lakers just kind of trim around the edges, right? Go get a legit 3-and-D two-way guy, ideally two, right? Can you go get like a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, right? He's a free agent. He has said that, you know, the Nuggets are his number one, like they'll have priority, but like if the Nuggets, if something happens, right? I'm sure KCP would like to come back to the Lakers. So it's like, hey, buddy, like you developed here, come back here, right? Go get somebody like a KCP or a Royce O'Neal or a Dorian Finney-Smith, whether it's via trade, whether it's through, free agency. We'd have to see who's out there in free agency once we actually get to that point, right? Because there's names, but you also never know. Guys re-sign, they sign extensions immediately in the offseason. There's a lot of different things that could go. So to me, you could either go the star route or you could go kind of upgrade, get the key pieces that you need, kind of get guys out on the perimeter, as well as you need to get a center. I don't really care if they get a starting center, but they need to get like a real one, like say a Valanciunas, for example. If you can get like a Valanciunas and he's fine with like coming off the bench like half the time, where it's like, hey, whenever LeBron misses a game, whenever Anthony Davis misses a game, guess what? You get to start. But games where they're both healthy, right, and we're not playing Sacramento or Denver or Minnesota, right, then you're probably going to come off the bench. So, like, you'll probably start 30 to 40 games, but the other, 40 to 50 games, you're going to sit on the bench, like you're going to come off the bench, but you'll still get 25 minutes a game or whatever. If somebody like that, cool, perfect, right? Because at this stage of LeBron's career, he has to play the four, right? Could he play a three or a point guard or whatever? Yeah, sure, but you're going to wear him down. So it's kind of like that catch-22. But to me, you fire Darvin Ham, you either go get that star or go get the complementary pieces or get maybe even some combination, depending on how things shape up, what the Pelicans do with the Lakers pick. There's a lot of different things that could play out. So, we'll dive into it more once we get to the offseason. The other thing, too, is like, you got to recognize, like, if you don't get the star, okay, like, you need better structure in the starting unit, right? So whatever coach you hire, I hope that they recognize the situation, right? Like, you can't have Rui, D'Lo, and Austin Reeves in the starting unit for balance, right? And make that call. I understand part of that is not on really Darvin Ham, right? It's like all of our defensive pieces are out. But my hope is that The front office recognizes we need real two-way guys, right? So let's say you go get a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, right? And let's say you trade for a Dorian Finney-Smith, right? So then you have D'Lo, KCP, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Now the starting five has real balance, has real structure, and now you have, a Gabe Vincent, an Austin Reeves, a Jared Vanderbilt, a Rui Hachimura, and then maybe you go get a Valanciunas. Now I think the Lakers are one of, if not the best teams in the league at that point. Because you have a legit starting level backup center. You have Rui Hachimura at the power forward position who can be great. You have Austin Reeves as a scoring threat off the bench alongside with Rui Hachimura. You got Gabe Vincent as your, two-way, 3-and-D style point of attack guy. You have Jared Vanderbilt and all the things Jared Vanderbilt can do. You have D'Lo performing the way D'Lo can perform that we've seen this season, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But now you have that legit 3-and-D style perimeter athleticism out on the perimeter type of setup. That is what I'm hoping the Lakers look for in this upcoming offseason. Even I'm just using guys as an example for name sake, but whatever is available come the postseason, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see, right? And so you get a new coach and you tear this down, right? The other alternative, and this one I don't think will happen, and I don't think the Lakers should do this, but I know some people will, and it's something at least worth talking about, is you basically tear it all down, right? You tear it down to the studs. And if LeBron wants to stay, well, you got to take a major discount, or we'll work out a sign and trade to go send you where you want to go. You trade Anthony Davis to the highest bidder. And maybe you keep Rui, D'Lo, and Reeves, right? And just see what you can do and put around them. Maybe you can still remain competitive. But, if you can get a big bidder for Austin Reeves, I think you trade him too, because he'll be 26 next year, right? So it's like he's not, like, how are you really going to keep him for a 5-year rebuild? And now all of a sudden he's 31, right? Like, same thing with Rui given his age, right? Do you kind of start shipping these guys out, or do you kind of give it a year and see, like, okay, how good can D'Lo, Reeves, and Rui be? Especially if you get like a young center, and you just kind of basically just say, hey, we're not going to contend for a little while. Let's stack up draft picks. Let's get some nice players, right? Take some chances, take some gambles on some free agents that are, maybe younger that maybe we could hit on, and you start looking towards the future. Problem with that is, the Lakers they have draft picks along the way, but it's like, can you really do that? And is that the best course of it? Like, I'd rather have a puncher's chance every year than go through like a 7-year rebuild and it's like you're waiting around, right? And the Lakers are terrible. It just depends on what's out there, right? If you get like some ridiculous Godfather offer for like AD, and you get some like great young package for LeBron, right? Like, I don't know, say the Cavs are like, hey, we'd love to bring in LeBron to try to keep Donovan Mitchell, right? And maybe you get like a Jared Allen and a Darius Garland or something. Maybe you look at that and go, man, like, Garland with Reeves, and maybe you flip D'Lo at that point, right? Like, I don't know, it just depends. But personally, I think you keep the big guns. But anyways, always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What do you think the Lakers should do? What do you think the answer is? Do you think the Lakers, if they, again, it's just a fun conversation, because it is a real possibility. It really is. It's a very real possibility that the Lakers could end up missing the playoffs. So I think it's worth at least a conversation. I do believe that they will make the playoffs, but you never really know. What do you think the Lakers should do in the offseason? What are your thoughts? Let me know. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.